We are back with travel advisor Ginny Maurer. She's answering your questions ahead of this summer travel season. All right, so this first text question is, if I want to get my very first passport, do I need to visit the post office or can I file the paperwork online?
So yes, you actually must do it in person for your first one. The other thing that is key to know is that you will need to make an appointment. It is very, very difficult to just show up. Most of them will require an appointment, but going to the post office just makes it easy. They do your picture and everything right there, so you know it meets the requirements.
Yeah, and I was able to go online and I was able to pick whatever post office had the first opening for my passport, so that made it really easy. All right, this next question is the U.S. still requiring tests before returning from another country?
Yes, that is in place. There's discussion that they might release that, but for now, you must test coming in back into the United States 1 day prior. It's not necessarily 24 hours, but it is loosened up a little bit to 1 day, but you must test to re-enter the United States.
And so is that as easy as taking a home test with me in my luggage and then doing it right there?
If there are certain brands that are accepted, but it is one that is proctored. So you would have to be able to do the video, and it's not all home tests and it's not all proctored home tests. So again, check with your travel advisor to make sure they can advise you on which types of tests you will need.
Okay, this next question is, what do the restrictions look like right now in Mexico?
Mexico is actually very easy to get into, and it's been one of the countries that people have been traveling since really back, last March, April timeframe. Right now, the only restriction is that you must have your passport to get there, and then you're going to have to do a COVID test to re-enter the United States.
My husband travels a lot for work. He was in New York last week and said it was like a ghost town, like there was no one there. So I'm wondering, are people not traveling to big cities, and would this be a good time to travel to a big city if that's something that you wanted to do?
It actually might be. New York is one of those locations, though, that you have to be careful because restaurants, shows, things like that are requiring that you be vaccinated to go in. So again, even travel in the United States, you've got to be careful with in some of your bigger cities. But I think because travel outside of the United States is really picking up, we're seeing that some of our bigger cities are slowing down a little bit.
All right, and so what are prices reflecting when it comes to like the bigger cities or Europe or anything like that? Are there any kind of like deals?
Well, right now what we're seeing is primarily with the fuel pricing, it is affecting the air. So your air pricing is, I'm going to be honest, it's kind of through the roof right now. But we can still, when we package your hotel or your resort or your cruise or anything with your air, we can get some discounted rates. That is always going to be the best way to do it, but pricing is high due to fuel and simply demand. People are ready to go.
All right, this next question is, what documents do you need for flying? Can you show your vaccination on your phone, or do you have to show your actual card?
Again, it depends on the country that you're going to. Remember, the airline is not the one requiring it. It is the country where you're going.
All right, so you need to double check that and see what is going on and whether they want to actually see that card or not. All right,
I was going to say, Tanya, I always do recommend carrying the card just as the backup. You don't know if your phone's going to die or anything like that. And it is the original card, too. That's very important.
And then if folks are going to take a cruise, a lot of times there's that extra thing of you can get the drink package or whatever else, and people are wondering, is that worth it or not? A soda is like $1.50 every single time you get one. What do you tell your folks who are signing up for the things like that?
Well, it is important, and I really kind of work with each client depending on their what they're looking for. As a general rule, if you're going to be drinking about 8 drinks per person per day, including the days you're in port, then get the drink package. Otherwise, if you might have 2 or 3 drinks, then you are better off just doing it a la carte, as we say. Or there are many cruise lines right now that are including the drink packaging in their pricing.
Okay. All right. So all good pieces of information, but the big, huge takeaway is if you're flying, it is not the airline, but it is the country that you are going to that are the ones who are going to tell you whether you need your vaccination card, whether you need tests, and all that other kind of jazz. Thank you so much, Ginny. We appreciate it. If you missed any of this, it's going to be in the 2 Wants to Know section of our website.